You're watching Thrifty Kaniffy. Hello everyone and welcome to Thrifty Kaniffy. We're going to be doing a little bit of a different kind of episode today. I'm going to be rambling a little bit more than usual. Not going to be doing any particular review, but we are going to be looking at a lot of knives. I'm going to show you guys my entire Barlow collection today. You know, the subcategory collections are kind of neat. So first up, I'm kind of just start with some of the more basic ones. This is the Imperial 278. It's just got your basic ABS handles, right? Imperial there. And it's just pretty cheap, like $6 maybe. Pretty basic Barlow, about as basic as they come. Got the really cheap plastic handles, and you can see the brass pins kind of protrude. But yeah, I really like it. The blades are pretty nice. Do like the more almost like a Warncliffe type pin blade there. Got a nice hefty snap. Good pull on it. So for a cheap knife, I do like that. Oh, I think this is actually called the Jackmaster. And you know, for obvious reasons, that's kind of funny and an enjoyable name for a knife. All right, another one pretty similar to that is this older, you know, I'm not exactly sure the date, but these got carbon blades on them. It's an older USA-made Barlow from Schrade. Got the Sawcut plastic handles there. And I've got two of these, so I'm going to have to remember where this one is. This is the Ireland one, and I've got another one very similar to it that's just a New York-made Imperial. But there you go, carbon blades. Very much like the Jackmaster. Maybe they even called these the Jackmaster back in the day. I don't know when they came out with that kind of name. Maybe you guys could tell me when Schrade started using that Jackmaster name. But here's another one. Again, this is carbon blades, USA made. There's a tank stamp on that one. You can see the vertical USA on the tank stamp there, just on the right edge. So yeah, this one's made in New York. And we'll just keep moving on. So next, another fairly cheap one. This one I really like, to be honest. This is the Pakistan multicolored Granddad Barlow, they call it. I don't know why they're calling it Granddad. It's not any bigger than these other ones. It's 3 1/4 inches. But of all the cheap Barlows that I bought, this is by far my favorite. I put probably about 3 hours of work into this. I sanded down the handles, got them super smooth, all the way up to like 3,000 grit sandpaper. I polished the blades and the bolsters and also the springs. They're almost a mirror finish now. You can see actually the brass is pretty much mirror finish, but the springs are a little bit recessed back in there, so it's making it tough to get them polished 100% mirror finish. But yeah, just putting a little time into this really brought it forward. Only little complaint I have about this, these blades. I think they're pretty nice for $5 knife. $4.99 on Smoky Mountain Knife Work. The only problem is this back blade. You have to kind of learn where the nail nick is on it to get to it, because it's kind of covered up. And you kind of have to take a more vertical approach to getting it open, not horizontal. So when you put the thumb in, I just mean bring it down from the top. But this is polished up a little bit. And the thing that I did was I put a little tiny, I don't know if you can see it, but I put a little mark on the back side of the blade. I gave it a little nick so that you could see where to center your thumbnail. I don't know if it's showing up on camera there. It's kind of hard to see. And so that little mark kind of just provided me a way of looking at the blade from the opposite side and then centering my finger where that little mark was. So it just makes it easier to open. But there you have it. Pakistan-made Barlow. Now here's this one. This is I made part of my 5th pocket Barlows. A purple swirl. And this is the small Barlow by Rough Ryder. And it's just a single blade. But super light little knife and small for your 5th pocket. Kind of a cool color. Not one I would buy bunch of them in, but in a small pattern like this. Looks pretty good, I think. I guess up next we've got this Rite edge. Another very inexpensive knife. You can get these even cheap on Amazon. I don't know. I think they're like under $7 shipped. Or at least they were. I don't know if they are now, but pretty basic one that I plan to kind of do a little work on. I'm going to try to take that Barlow etch off of there, sand this wood down, and maybe stain it a different color. Just be a little project, you know, get the finish of those stainless liners a little shinier. And this one, like the Pakistan one, it's got that nail nick on the edge, but this one's actually a little easier to reach. I don't have as much problem with this one. There's the blades on this one. You got the clip on that one, and pretty much the same shape as that Pakistan knife. Probably made from the same parts, I would imagine, with the exception of the handle material. But I actually do still prefer the Pakistan one to this one. This one has a lanyard hole where the other one doesn't. So that's a thing you like. There's something that you can hang your hat on. But there you go. Rite edge, Barlow, real cheap. You can get those, I think on Smoky Mountain Knife Works, Chicago Knife Works, Amazon. They're pretty readily available. All right, up next, some more cheap ones. These are little $3, $3.50 or something like that. Novelty knives that you can get on Chicago Knife Works. I don't know how many of these they've got left on Smoky Mountain, but there's still a few of these available. And this is the 100th anniversary Zorro knife. Pretty decent snap. A little light on the pull on this one, but just the cheap acrylic handles, right? And then they got the clip-on type bolster, right? Like the old Imperials used to have. So they're really cheaply made. There's really nothing wrong with them in terms of how they would cut, but just the build quality on them is not that great. But you're not paying much for them, so just something. Again, a novelty knife, so don't expect much from them, but they are what they are. You can see this one came cracked. I mean, I haven't even used it. It came cracked right out of the package, so don't expect much from them. Oh, sorry, the crack's on this side. There you go, that top pin there. So up next, we got another one similar to that, Novelty Company. This is the Buffalo. I thought was kind of neat. Roaming Buffalo handle. And same exact style knife as the other one. This one actually has a better pull than the other one. A little bit firmer, but similar blades to the other Rite edges and whatnot. But this one I haven't even bothered to clean. But there you go. Buffalo bison handles. All right, up next we've got one of my favorites. This is the Queen, and the Sawcut bone. It's got that plain bolster on it. Really pretty bone material. Actually, one of my favorite series of knives that I own. This Sawcut bone, along with the Wharncliffe and Canoe that I have here. They are, really nice. Here's actually the Canoe, right? And the Wharncliffe, which is really neat. With that beautiful little Wharncliffe blade on it. Great series of knives. If you guys haven't looked into these, definitely recommend you check these out. They are prone to cracking. I think that one actually might have a crack, so just be aware of that. These handles, the pins are so close to the edge on this particular knife. I think William actually had one that was cracked and called Cracky or something like that. So yeah, there's that to worry about. But otherwise, yeah, these are a great series of knives, and definitely one of my favorites in the Barlow. Let's look at the blade. Got a swedge on this one. Half stop. And there's a small blade, pin blade. There you go. So, the Queen knives. Okay, up next, this is the recent review. You got the cinnamon stag bone. All right, this is the one blade, and the newest of the Rough Rider styles. I think this is the first one they released in a single blade. And got the swedge on that. Only thing about this one that I don't like is that lighter pull. Wish it would have been a little heavier. But a great knife otherwise. Just want a little heavier pull on a Barlow like that, right? Up next we got this is one I reviewed. This is the worm groove Barlow. Got the double striped bolster there, which I kind of like. Wish they'd done more of that and then just gotten rid of the R. But that's all right. We're done with the R, so I'm kind of over talking about that. It's not something I'm going to much worry about anymore. But there you have the blade for that one. And there's a secondary blade. On this particular one, I don't have any difficulty getting to that blade. I don't know if it's just because it's not as buried as some of the other ones, but you can see that you can get a pretty good amount of room to pick that one out. Some of these other Rough Rider ones, a little more of a challenge to get that primary or the back blade, the larger blade out. Here's an example of that. All right, you can see it's a little more tucked in. This is your classic carbon series. Got the yellow composite handle with the carbon blades. And I have to kind of put my hand more vertical on this one to get to it. But yeah, it's got the carbon blades. A little lighter pull than maybe I would want on this one too. It's not bad. It's about a 6, maybe 5.5, something like that. But there you go. Classic carbon series. And of course we'll follow that up with the classic carbon 2 series. Now you'll notice this one just has the non-striped bolster. I don't know why they changed it so much, but this one has blue underliners, that black micarta handle. But this again has got that blade tucked in there. You got a little bit of a challenge to get it out. You need a little bit of a fingernail. But that's why I keep my fingernail grown out. So you guys wondering why my fingernail's longer than maybe you like? That's why. I like to be able to reach the nail nick. I don't know. I've had a few guys complain about it. Just guys that have no respect for anybody else. But I'm not going to get into that. All right, so we got this stag bone handle next. And this one's got the pinched bolster here. But no stripes and just the RT. But pretty nice coloring on this one. Like the handle material a lot. Again, this one's about like the carbon. 1 by 5.5, 6 on the pull on this one. Pretty cool. So brown stag bone, Rough Rider. I guess what I'll do is I'll just put the model numbers of these in the description, so you guys don't have to listen to me try to find the number every time. But if you are interested in knowing what something is, you can look it up. So this one is the blue Masonic blue smooth bone Barlow. It's got the older horseshoe style bolster on it, but you can see how crooked that shield is in there. It's like rotated 45 degrees. So if it ever falls out, and I kind of hope it does, I'll just glue it back in there straight at some point. Not too worried about it though. It's not a knife I use, so probably won't ever get it straight. But this one has an etch on it. In search of the light, or search of the light, or search of more light, whatever it is. And yeah, it has that little more space to get to that one than some of the others. Mirror polish on these, 440 stainless. So, blue smooth bone Masonic. All right, so up next, another Rough Rider. This one's the buckshot bone. Again, we go back to that bolster I like a little more with the 2 stripes. This one has the red underliner on it. And kind of that same problem with this is probably the worst of the ones I have that are, as far as trying to reach. This one's kind of low in there. You can see how that one's covered up pretty good. Only got just this left edge to try to grab a hold of. Just one of the problems with some of the Rough Riders. But they're not all the same. Some seem worse than others. I guess it all comes down to how big the little, what do you call this? Somebody give me the word I'm looking for here, but the stop here. All right, the kick, is that what it is? It just needs to be a little larger, so it pops up a little higher, but there you have that, buckshot bone. Okay, up next we've got one from Marbles. This is a ram's horn, and you can see they did the blades right on that one, easy to reach. So I don't know what's up with Smoky Mountain Knife Works. Consistency on that particular issue seems back and forth, but easy enough to open that one. That one's got a blade etch on it, or reverse etch, I guess. It says ram horn. And then you get this flying squirrel on this really nice handle material. So probably one of my favorite Barlows. Really nice handle material on that. That's another series that's fantastic. I do have one other example without this large toothpick. So yeah, the handle material is pretty nice. So yeah, that's a nice knife there, and real easy to get to the blades. Pull on this one about 5.5, 6, something like that. About average. It's actually a little stiffer on the pin blade. But there you go, ram's horn for Marbles. All right, up next we have something a little different here. This one's a Saber. Now, most of the Saber that I knew about were made in Japan. This one is not. This one, I guess, came later. This one's made in China. Pretty cheap knife, but it doesn't have the clip-type bolsters that actually are, full-on bolsters there. And they give you that squared-off nail nick, which is kind of cool. The blade tip on this one just a little different than some of the other ones. I like clip blade, but the pull on this one's pretty light. I'd say about a 5. The pin blade, however, is about a 7. And get the shape of that one. More like a traditional pin blade, like you see like on a Swiss Army knife. And these got just lazy half stops on them. But this is an older one. I don't know. I'm probably going to say early 2000s, something like that. Saber, made in China. Pattern number on that one's like 607, if you guys are interested. All right. Up next, we got my one and only Frost Barlow. But I really like this. It's got a different type of bolster. A lot of them. It's more squared off. And this is their Caliber brand, and you can see that the blades are easy accessible, no problem there, and it's got a nice pull on it. I'd say about a 7.5, so it's pretty much ideal, got a pull wise. So you guys want to dismiss Frost, sometimes I make some good stuff, and this is a good example. Fit and finish maybe not perfect, but look, the liners, they're nothing wrong with those, no gapping or anything. And like I was saying, like the pull on this one is probably better than a lot of my Rough Riders. So not always bad. I wouldn't just dismiss them altogether. Try a few patterns out, Some of them are going to be crummy, but some of them are really good. And I really like this Caliber one. It's got the nice plain bolster on it, right? And that shield, it doesn't really stand out much because most of it's black anyway on a black handle. Handle kind of cheap, and, the jigging's kind of, not the greatest, but This is a candidate for, working on a little bit, smoothing out the rough edges and making it into something better than it is when you buy it. But it's got a nice pull, and that's a good bones, right? It's good action on the blades. All right, up next is a Bear & Son. This is one of my latest acquisitions here. This is the walnut handle, I believe, not the rosewood. And that's like $26 on Amazon. So for a USA made knife, that's pretty fantastic. The wood's super nice feeling, super smooth. The gapping's pretty minimal at all on here. So, you expect a little more from a $26 knife. And I feel like the exterior gives you that. It's built well. Not a huge fan of the blades, though. I do like the nail nicks. But the blades just don't seem very refined. You would hope that there was a little more effort put into the shape of them. And they have that weird downward angle that people don't like. So, I don't know. They're okay. Pull on it's about a 6.5. Not the greatest, not the worst. Somewhere in the middle there. And I think the main thing I don't like about the pen blade is that tang looks so awkward. But I don't know. I'm only being more critical of this knife because it costs more. And I do like it a lot. It's just kind of wish a little more from the blades themselves. But these are carbon steel blades, so you're going to need to protect these a little bit from the outdoors. But overall, for the money and a USA knife, hard to complain about that. Still a good value in my eyes. All right, up next, more Rough Riders. We got this black cherry bone, and it's got like a pit, almost like a cherry pit right in the middle, or something like that. I guess that's how it got its name. But mostly red, and then you got this maroon center on the interior there. But unusual color knife. It's almost like a, I don't know. It's just an unusual color. I don't know what to say about that. But you can see it pretty well hidden back in there on this one too. You got a reverse blade etch on this black cherry bone. Got that double stripe bolster that I like as far as the RT ones go. And, it's pretty well built. You don't have any gaps or anything. So pull on that one. Pretty much like the others. About a 6.5. All right, up next, one of my biggest disappointments for the blade action is this white smooth bone. I probably will end up getting another one of these. I just like this knife too much to have one that has such a light pull on it, but this one's, I don't know, it's probably about a 4 pull. It's just a little light for what I'd like. But you got the reverse R-Tank, so this is a more recent release of this one. I'm sure they make other versions of it with different tang stamps. But this one doesn't have a half stop at all. And the pull on that pen blade is just ridiculously light. It's like a 3. I really don't like that at all. So I'm probably going to buy another one of these. But still a pretty knife. It's just, I think I kind of got a limit on this one. Got good construction too, so it's unfortunate, but that's the reality of it. Hit and miss with the Rough Riders. Okay, so white smooth bone. Up next, I've showed this before, done a review of it. This one's the blue denim. And blue denim micarta. And just the plain pinched RT bolster there. Pretty well constructed. And this one has a really nice pull on it, like a 7. It's a good snap on it. 6.5, 7, somewhere in there. Yeah, it's pretty much ideal. And I don't have any problem reaching the nail nicks on this particular one, but I know that other people have. It's a little buried, but that left side, you can get your finger in there. Yep, see, I say that, and all right, so there's the blue denim micarta Barlow with the half stop there. Again, I'm going to put the model numbers in the description. You guys want to know which ones these are. Okay, so up next we've got the amber jig bone Rough Rider, and this one's got that cool horseshoe stamp into the Barlow there. Pretty nice. Probably would have been better without the shield, but what are you going to do? But I do like amber jig bone as far as the handle material. I've talked about that before as being one of my favorite pattern or handle materials that Rough Rider uses. Just really like the way they color it. Did a good job on that. Fit and finish on this one's pretty nice. Pull on this one, it's a lot better than the white one. I'd say it's about a 6. And again, this one has no half stops. This is an older style, older release. They don't have the half stops on this one. But just a little bit light on the pen blade. So maybe it's just these older ones are just a little light. Maybe you guys tell me your experience with some of the older releases Rough Rider had. If their pulls were a little lighter than some of the more recent ones. I don't know. I do like a good firm pull on the Barlow. So there you go, amber jig bone with the bow tie shield. Okay, up next we've got this Culpepper. You guys had a lot of mixed feelings about this knife. And I know they're coming out with one with the amber jig bone handles for around $34 or something like that. And you guys know. Some of you guys were like, that's too much. But you know, I don't know. It's hard to find a knife in that size with the hammer jig bone, so I might pull that off. I don't know. I haven't decided. But this one is with the black micarta. Or perhaps it's G10. I can't remember. And you've got the lanyard hole here. Large blade. Alright. So, pretty nice. Little Culpepper. Not the greatest materials used here, but still, for kershaw, I think it's pretty cool that they're making, you know, traditional patterns when so many other companies are going all modern. So, no half stop on that or anything like that. But there you have that one. And this one obviously is a little larger than your standard, you know, Barlow. I can't remember the exact length of it, but I'd say it's about 4 inches or more. Now we're up to our Granddaddies, and we've got this wonderful ram's horn, you know, material. And this one's jigged different than the marbles one. It's just got waves in it. Really cool material. Again, with that horseshoe tang, or sorry, bolster, and reverse R tang. This one has the blade edge on it. But I don't know what to think really of these larger Barlows. I like the look of them, but I don't know that they're that practical for carry. Just you know, with that longer blade, much like a toothpick, it's more for show than for use, in my opinion. But I do like the look of them, so I do get a few of them if they're really nice looking, like this one. It's your High Plane series, Granddaddy. You got the plain RT bolster on this one. Again, the fit finish is pretty nice on these guys. Got a decent pull on it, maybe about 7. And that High Plains material there is pretty nice. But there's just not a whole lot of these Granddaddies from Rough Rider, so I think a lot of people show these over and over again because they just haven't made a whole ton of them, maybe about 6 different ones. Here's the last one. Here's my last one to show. This is one I picked up on eBay used. You can see there's got a crack in the handle on both sides. It's just your old Geller composite handle with the officer shield. And you got your horseshoe bolster there. But good pull on this one. Probably the strongest of the 3 that I have here. And again, it's just don't know about the practicality of it. I'm sure this is like a back pocket per carry. But I know I'd probably prefer something else to carry. So these don't get much use. I would definitely probably just have these for show. But I forgot one more Barlow to show. It just kind of gets put in a different area, so I forgot to include this. But it's an old timer Barlow. This one from Schrade, and get the 7CR17 blades. Nice nail neck on the pull there, real easy open. This one has a nice pull, about 8. Good snap on it. Another one of my favorites. The action on it's fantastic. So, yeah, I can't complete the video without showing the old timer. Okay, so that does complete the Barlow collection, and there you have that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment below if you have something you want to talk about, and I'll be sure to respond. You guys have a fantastic day, and please do take care.